In the summer of 1993, Iqbal arrived at Hussein Khan's carpet factory. He was a strange-looking child, but something was special about him.
Iqbal, this is your slate. Each line represents your debt to me. When all the lines are erased, you can return home to your family. Do you understand?
Yes, Master, I understand. I lived by the countryside, where the winds blew strong, and the undulating rays of the sun shone so bright it brought a smile upon my face. My family was like any other family, but we were poor. My father worked long hours out on the field. Sometimes we didn't even have enough to eat, but we managed. As the years went by, my brother became ill, and we had to ask the village moneylender for a couple hundred rupees.
You can say goodbye to your family now.
Abu, Ami, no.
Enough, child.
The children were fascinated with Iqbal's story. A couple months passed, and time came when the foreigners looked for expensive things to buy, just because they had the money. Iqbal was working harder than he had ever worked before. Hussein Khan was walking around making sure everything was going smoothly, until Iqbal stood up and looked at the children, then took a good look at Hussein Khan, then back to the children with a smirk. He held the carpet up high and sighed at the rip of the carpet.
What did you do, child? Do you know how much trouble you've gotten yourself into? Into the tomb, I said, into the tomb! Child.
No! No!
Hussein Khan seemed hesitant. It was just past midnight. The children were planning on visiting Iqbal. They began crawling on their hands and knees with a packet of bread in their mouth and a bottle of water. Sharp stones cut into their hands and knees. They began to pull on the hinges of the heavy iron door. The door opened with a terrible squeak. A light turned on in Hussein Khan's house. They saw the mistress's shadow. They froze. Very quickly, they handed Iqbal the packet of bread and a bottle of water. Iqbal was released 3 consecutive days later. He had cuts, bruises, and insect bites covering his arms and legs. A month later, Iqbal told Fatima he would fly a kite with her one day. That night, Iqbal squeezed out of a washroom window. Iqbal heard of an organization that helped abused and exploited children become free. He managed to escape, get Hussein Khan arrested, and free the other children from the factory. Iqbal met a man named Ihsan Khan, who helped him free the other child laborers. In his eyes, he was a hero. The same day, Fatima Maria and Iqbal reached the headquarters of the Liberation Front. Before Iqbal promised Fatima that they would fly a kite together. And they did. They ran around for hours and hours to the crack of dawn.
Fatima, to think that days before we used to work as indentured servants, and now we are free like birds, flying high in the sky with nothing to fear. Free to speak, free to play, and free to think. But most importantly, free to be who we want to be. But, Iqbal, that won't last forever. I'm afraid you might be right. I'm afraid so.
For a couple of years, Iqbal continued to free the children. He was offered the Youth in Action Reebok Award. When he returned home on Easter Day, he was shot and bled to death. Until this day, his death remains a mystery.